right-hand side of your screen. Amaro at the moment putting in some work here to hold Buchiweki, not letting him go too far here. And I don't think he wants to let this disappear up the road particularly, although it would take points. Not really going to need to worry, I think, about Buchiweki when we come onto that climb, but we'll have to see whether or not he's got the power to go up those climbs just as well, the Polish rider who's currently wearing that green skin suit of our sprint leader. So sprint number 1 done and dusted for category 6, 5, 4, and 3. The second of our sprints, the one at 10.4k. That's the next for the checkpoints that category 3 will reach. Category 4 still actually to reach that point on the way through. I have to agree with Craig Kennett on the chat. Don't forget you can get in touch with the chat live on YouTube. We go out on Twitch TV as well as live on TV, and very often out into things like Sports Arena within the UAE as well. The chat on the YouTube is the one that we try and monitor on the way through. So if you want to jump on board there, good to see Adam Stasinski in there. Just having a little look, Craig Kennett, having the sprints before the big climb, much more exciting. It spreads the prize money around a lot more too for the actual sprinters who have no chance after the big climbs. I would agree with that point, Craig, personally, but that's only my personal opinion. I like to see lots of different people taking away prize money because we've got a good prize fund across all of the categories every single week. Category 2, our next set of races to go. 10 teams in Category 2. We have 7 teams of 5. Amos Esports, the Watt Bombs, along with BMC Elite Racing, Gloria Victis, the Goat Squad, Level Elite, and the Hitmen are all squads with 5 riders. Squads with 4 riders, so 3 teams of 4. Cycling District 2 have 4 riders. The Polish Horses have 4 riders, and so do the Smarties. They also have 4 riders. We also have the UAE Falcons and the UAE Clan team here, both with 2 riders in the squad. So they won't be tied so much by team tactics. We know, though, they're full of strong riders. The Falcons with Ahmed El Tanaji and Zaid Hamdan. The UAE Clan team with SS and Mr. X100, the My Whoosh champion in Category 2 for 2025. In the My Whoosh Championship, the $1 million prize funded stage race that has just taken place in August, and lots of racing on My Whoosh in August. Lots of shows going your way. Don't forget you can catch up with all of the racing if you did miss out on any of the stages by going back through the back catalogue of racing on My Whoosh. There's so many races on there now, so many hours of bike racing you can watch, which is great to see. So do jump on board. So, the riders on their way through. At the moment, we are in with the living legend himself, Ivan Nuki. Nuki is a fantastic inspiration to so many riders. There's been some great shots from the Abu Dhabi Cycling Club, an inspirational place to go and visit. So if you're going out to the World Championships, go visit, go say hi to Ivan and all of the team there, because they do an amazing job of inspiring the youth of the future. And Ivan is one of those coaches. I've had the pleasure of meeting Ivan in person last year. Don't think going to be able to meet him this year, sadly, but we met him last year, and I have to say it was one of the absolute highlights, if not the highlight of my trip to the UAE, was to see the work that's been done by people like Ivan on the ground to get people on bikes, riding out and racing. Men, women, boys, girls, everybody on bikes, on dedicated cycling facilities. It's a massive national project, and I'll tell you something, it's being delivered by some real superstars out there. So great to see Ivan there, smiling as ever. Probably why I'm not a coach, I don't smile enough. That's probably the reason. Now, speaking of coaches, Nathan Guerra on the move here. Nathan a rider who has all of the knowledge. We're going to see if he can put that into play here today. Been riding stronger and stronger. Nathan Guerra, I think, are the fittest he's ever been. He's up against some very class acts, though, because he's gone with Maciej Skierski down the road here. As you see, Ollie Simmons, Marcin Trojanowski, and Rick van Erck watching Category 4 going the opposite direction. A number of riders just keeping their powder dry as we see Skierski go up the road with Guerra. No surprises in some ways to see that move from Guerra and Skierski. It's an opportunistic move, but I think it could pay off in Category 2. We saw it pay off in some of our previous categories, and it could pay off again. I think the riders are aware of the danger, but they don't want to chase too hard. Look at this, not a concerted chase behind. One or two people taking up the chase. Machado and Van Erck at the moment. Now Downey's starting to think about it. Ibrahim starting to make a move. So is Alvarado and Downey. They're not at the moment. It's not convincing me, this. It's not the sort of convincing chase of 7-8 watts per kilo that Category 2 are capable of, but it's a big kick. Now, Ibrahim starts to push. This is what the sort of push that we're looking to see that will bring the riders back. You put somebody strong on the front who can put down 7 watts per kilo. You put 2 or 3. If the rest of the bunch goes with them, then they'll close the gap down. If they don't go, it's an even more dangerous group up the road. Esprit Ibrahim on our screens. Good to see Esprit, a rider who is riding strongly in that My Whoosh Championship. Did some fantastic race performances. You can see at the moment he knows the danger of that group. He's going to try and get himself up there. He's got a great kick on him. He's put some great sprint wins in, taking the early stages in that My Whoosh Championship. He wants to get on the wheels here. He wants to get into the big points at the moment. If he holds third place, he'll only get 3 points. It's better than none, but at the moment, he's got some work to do. He may catch Guerra. He's not going to catch Skierski. Maciej Skierski saving that 10 watts per kilo kick to come in and through. He's going to take the points, but what these 5 riders do next could be instrumental in how this race plays out. Now, Van Erck goes over the line there behind. Then it's going to be Ibrahim, followed by Hayland and Bennett. They've still got a gap, the riders in front. They really want to push it. Olivier Simmons with Bennett, if they keep pushing, they could close the gap down. If the leaders keep pushing, they could open the gap up. It's going to be decisive in Category 2, but we're going to have to come back to that fairly shortly, because you can just see Category 1. Our elite riders are waiting on the line here. The Category 1 riders are last riders to go in the last race of August. It's our monthly finals here on My Whoosh, where we have our individual competition and we have the team competition in play as well. This is all about making sure you get to the top of the climb in a position that benefits you and your team. It's time for Category 1 to show us what they've got, just show us just why they are considered the elite riders. 34 riders on this start list here today for Category 1 in our August monthly final. They take to the roads of Colombia to the 45 kilometers of distance, the 914 meters of climbing. That all comes at the end of this stage, really backloaded with climbs, front-loaded with sprints, a real mixture, something for everybody here today. Who is going to take away the individual prizes and the team prizes? Aber Synergy, the one of only 2 squads with 5 riders. Synergy with Paradians, Power, Skierski, Van Elst, and Wu. The Wenger boys, the other team of 5 with Kroll, Milostic, Pedersen, Panitza, and Mayer. We then have 4 squads of 4 riders. Boss Moves Only, Jason Osborne, the world champion, Michael Knudsen, Michael Vink, and Saeed Safrazadi. The Farmworld squad have 4 riders, Bjorn Andreasen, Hayden Pucker, Johan Noren, and Josh Harris. We have the Green squad, which is Cardona, Nico, along with Betty and Miller. And then, of course, no riders in teams of 2, because that wouldn't be enough. But we do have 1 team of 3. The Alpha Jaw squad, Lionel Vajasin, Mikhail Kaminsky, and Ollie Jones. Jones, who has shown that he has got some serious sprint speed on him, as well as being a great rider. The question will be, who's going to take that out? Are they going to go early? Are we going to see team tactics at work? Bjorn Andreasen making a bit of a move near the front here, but Carlos Ramirez has gone over the top of the front here. So Ramirez running for the Greens squad. along with Nico, Betty and Miller. I think that they are very aware that they're going to need to go early to go get those points. The Union of Speed squad have got Ruben Dont behind, and Dont looks to be chasing. So is Remy Confession. They head out onto the Coffee Trail as Category 3 come charging the opposite direction there. Felt the drafters came in the opposite way. I don't think that's programmed into my wish that the opposing bunch, a bit like if you get a vehicle coming in the opposite direction on the road, it blows you and it slows you down. But that would be mean. That would be harsh. I hope that's not the case. Now, Ramirez on the front, the chase behind Confession, along with Puckett on the way up here. Just interesting to see who puts the chase in here. Puckett's not letting this go for the Boss Moves only squad. Don also working here for the Union of Speed squad. Kaminsky's in here from the Alpha Jaw squad as well in that chase. So may well be that team's choosing just to put one or two riders on the road rather than sit in the bunch. The reaction not coming. Pucker and Don at 4 seconds with Kaminsky, then 7 seconds back to Vajasin in the main bunch. He's not surely going to work because he won't want to pull back Kaminsky. Kaminsky's teammate at the moment, though, it is going to be Carlos Ramirez who's on the front here. You can just see him aboard the bike, really putting the power down. He's round that left-hand turn. He's into this straight, which leads into the long sweeping right on the boardwalk on the bridge, into that sprint. Behind him, Puckett and Dont. If they made this across with Kaminsky, that would be a phenomenal breakaway group. This could well be a real moment where they choose not just to go for the sprint. Ramirez is winding it up for that sprint point. So is Dont. Dont's at 10 watts per kilo. Ramirez at 9.2. Ramirez is surely going to have done enough. Dont is coming quick, but he's not coming quick enough. Ramirez will take away 5 points. Dont is going to take away 4 points. It's then going to be the run behind. So Ramirez taking away top spot in that sprint in category 1 from Ruben Dont in a second position. Pucker in third place. Kaminsky in fourth. It looks like Gednes taking fifth place. The time, though, almost identical. For all of the riders from Dont downwards with the category 2 and 3 pack. So most of the race fields going through. Only Carlos Ramirez really with a higher pace on his way through there. So interesting to see how that pace played out. Let's jump in with some of our riders, so a little bit further up the road, or should we say underground up the road, because this is the category 3 pack here. We're in with Arthur Kobani along with David Badil and Niall Batty, 3 very talented younger riders. So great to have Arthur, David and Niall with us. Hopefully they're going to be enjoying the racing. Remember, guys, it's meant to be fun as well as get that satisfaction of taking the race win. Happy riders are fast riders. It's one of the key things we always try and tell people when we see them, because that's the one thing you want to do. You've got to be enjoying this. You've got to be out and racing. These 3 talented riders, very interesting riders. Batty, very accomplished climber. Kobani, a real all-rounder. So is Badil. We're going to see who's going to go off the front, because one of them is bound to. This is young, irrepressible youngsters. Have they got their timing right when they go up onto the climb? Very interestingly, 3 very different continents represented here as well. Badil from the Republic of South Africa in Africa. We've got Kobani from Brazil, from the South American continent, and Batty from Great Britain, which is part of Europe, of course, in terms of continent, if not in terms of monetary and judiciary, even, if I can say the word. Shows you how much I'm trying to stay out of that conversation as these 3 riders come through. 3 very different places that they're from. 3 very different sets of cultures, but I tell you something, all united by riding on my wish. That's one of the great things. You bring these 3 together. You never know, one day you may be watching these same 3 riders racing in a professional team on the road. They might be racing with the same mountain bike squad off-road, or they may be dedicated to the same team on cycling esports. You never ever know what will happen in the future. 3 talented riders They've yet to make their way to the climb, which is where Category 6 have hit. They've gone out the other side of the tunnels. They're now up on to the climb. There's leaders on the road. That initial close bunch all together have been separated out, and I think one rider just clear on the front ahead of this group that Jeff Rooney is in. Jeff there in the jersey, in that Mo Rouge jersey with the silver fern in the background. You can see working hard here, making sure he stays in with that group. I tell you something, we do need to get Jeff. This is by his own admission. We need to get Jeff something to harness the power of his upper body as well as the lower body there, because his movement there. There's so much power in him. He can't keep it still, and that means he's having to rock about. So he's got to. We want to harness that, Jeff. Get it through those pedals, mate. Okay. On the way up the climb is going to be McMurtry leading this out behind Hanley, along with Vaz, Cridland and Silver, working the way up the climb. We're going to drop back though into Category 2 because it looks like this race has already exploded apart, and we have got a breakaway has gone off the front. The move that had been made by Skierski and Guerra has pulled clear Downey, Van Urk and Machado, with Bennett in attendance as well. The group behind are at 11 seconds, and Michel Machado here, you can see him on your screens here from Portugal for that cycling district squad, right up in the front here. Skierski is in this group as well. Bennett cannot be discounted. Guerra is in here. This is a very handy group now. This is where every single one of these riders surely now wants to work for the front. It could be team orders would mean that they were trying not to work because there would be riders behind, but each of these teams is getting a gap. If you're in this, you're getting a head start, you're getting a gap. You really do need to push on here. Really get a push off the front. And if they can keep this rolling, they're going to keep this away. They are going to go through the sprint. It's coming up at 10.4 kilometers ahead of the group, and all of the points will be mopped up by the leading group on the way through. It's Skierski who's leading out the sprint, left-hand side of your screen. Van Urk and Downey are behind. They're not going to pull back Skierski. Maciek Skierski are clearly going to make this his own. This is going to be a key. He goes in through behind, then Van Urk and Downey, followed by Machado and Morel, just making their way in through the jungle sprint. So Skierski taking 5 points, Van Urk taking 4, Downey taking 3, Machado taking 2, and Morel taking 1. Halen, Bennett and Guerra rounding out those 8 riders who have the lead at the moment. The gap back to the chasers behind, relatively substantial. 6th group of 8, it's actually 1 and 7, but I think they're all going to come back together at that very front group. Meanwhile, Hayden Pucker and Mikkel Kaminski have gone for a long one. Just taking a look at Mikkel Kaminski here. He's looking pretty cool, calm and collected in here with Pucker riding for the Boss Moves Only squad, Kaminski for the Alpha Jaw squad. And I think this is a good move by these two teams, by the Farm Watt squad and the Alpha Jaw squad, sending riders up the road here. Because this means not only do they have a bit of a time advantage if they can hold this further into the course, but of course, it does mean that there are people up the road for their teammates to get up to them. Ollie Jones of the Alpha Jaw squad could be a rider to go across. Michael Vink, though, I think has decided enough is enough. He's on the front of this group and everybody else will react. Once Vink goes, everybody will follow. And this is the problem for the breakaway of 2. If Vink wants to come back across and he makes his move, everybody will chase. Nobody will want to let the gap go. And that's what we're seeing here. Everybody has come up. The threat of Vink is too great for the breakaway, and that means that they're going to get pulled back on this descent down here. At 8.1k, we are still over 2k from the sprint, and I think Puckett and Kaminski realise that they are doomed. So Kaminski and Pucker pull back into the break, into the gap behind. Looks like at least one rider just struggling a little bit with the pace as we see a counter-attack go. And is that going to be Andreasen, teammate of pucker going up the road here. So this is the kick out of the front of the bunch. Johan Noren it is who's gone. So Noren has gone on the attack this time. The teammate of Andreas, and it was a Farm Watch squad rider, Johan Noren, great mountain biker and great road rider, Swedish rider, the rider who we're, I'm sure, going to be seeing at those in-person, well, we'll see him at the semi-finals, that is for sure, because he is a rider who I'm sure will get a pick from Sweden. Whether he'll make it into the top 20 and be at the finals, well, that's a bigger ask, but you never, ever know. It depends on how it's ridden in those semi-finals. We've seen stranger things happen. This group all back together again. Nobody letting that gap go. One rider detached from the main group of riders as they set off on to the race route. Now another kick goes. It is Bjorn Andreasen this time, who goes up at 7.9 watts per kilo. He's going to go on to this rise of the bridge here. He's got the lead. Andreasen now being answered by Dont, and they're going to come up over the top. So this time around, Bjorn Andreasen going for the Farm Watts squad. Dont responding for the Union Speed squad here to try and pull them back together again. Andreasen with the gap here, 9.6k covered. The next checkpoint is at 10.4, so it's not that far away. Andreasen could be soloing to a 5-point win here if there's no response behind. And I think because it is one rider, not 3 or 4, they're just sitting and waiting and watching it. And it may well be, because the gap is only 3 seconds, they're going to rely on the sprint for the points at the checkpoint to bring them back onto the wheels of Andreasen. Well, world champion Jason Osborne goes to the front of affairs. He takes a quick look up the road, wants to make sure that he's not going to be distanced as the pace starts to pick up coming into this checkpoint. Andreasen, though, has got the gap, and it's going to be difficult to pull him back. Now the wind-up goes on the front. Now goes the kick in front, but they're not going to get Andreasen. Andreasen is going to go through. He takes away top spot. Don is going to take second place through. Then it's going to be Mel. So I think Andreasen from Dont as they hit the line. Then it'll be Vidar Mayer followed by Michael Vick and Ollie Jones. They score 5, 4, 3, 2 and 1 points respectively. Then it's Malur, Wu, Power and Co as they make their way in and through. Meanwhile, you can see all of our segment winners. So they all take away prizes from our Category 1 riders, gaining $70 at each of our segment checkpoints. So each checkpoint, the riders taking $70 in Category 1, right the way through to Category 6, where it is $15 per checkpoint. So Andreasen up the road. Now we see the world champion starting to make a move. He knows the danger of letting former world champion Bjorn Andreasen go down the road. And looks like Jason Osborne of the Boss Moves Only squad just pushing on to the front here. I think there'll be an instant response from everybody else once that's the case. Meanwhile, in Category 2, well, this is kind of the situation that Andreasen wishes he'd been in off the front with this group of riders not chasing hard behind. 36 seconds is the gap between our leading breakaway and the main bunch here today. So anybody who's a climber at the 14.3k checkpoint, point on the course, is going to be thinking about what's going on in front in terms of the overall. They're not going to be thinking about this in terms of what is happening with the rest of the group. So we're just going to be taking a look and seeing who has got the gap. And still Bennett, Downey, Morel, Van Urk still up the road. These are the nearest chasers, and it's just a little bit of a push off the front here as we see Fawcett and Simmons, Bjarhead, Wozniak, all looking to respond. Mendakowicz, Mendakowicz will be kicking himself that he missed that breakaway that he would dearly have loved to be in that as well. So would SS. So that we're starting to see movement here. Simmons at the moment just keeping an eye, doesn't want to go the wrong side of another gap, another break that goes. That would be disastrous. Behind the leaders, though, you are starting to see that leading group just start to fracture a little here. It may well be it's Bennett who's just being distanced off this group, or is it Morel just taking a look at that group? It's Van Urk who's gone. Unusual. So Rick Van Urk there just being distanced off the front group, not staying with them as they come up this climb. He's an individual rider. He hasn't got team duties to worry about as they go underneath that point at the 15.8k checkpoint. Van Urk disappearing off the back there of that group. This the Sandgill sprint. So Skierski taking that from Machado, from Downey, from Bennett. Then Morel, Halen, Guerra. Van Urk losing ground. He's lost 9 seconds in the space of a few hundred meters. That is not good news. He'll be quickly swallowed up by the group behind. So at the moment, 8 has become 7 as they went in through. So that leading group, Skierski, Machado, Downey, Bennett, Morel, and Hayland, along with Guerra, clear of Van Urk. Van Urk with a little bit of a gap. Mr. X100 leading the charge from the bunch behind with Jamie Cahill, Masit Mendakowicz. They didn't get any points, though, because of that gap in front to the leading group, and the leading group mopping up the points on the way in and through in Category 2. So, breakaway in Category 1, left-hand side of your screen, Andreasen, Dont and Pedersen are the 3 riders at the front of Category 1. At the front of the road in totality, Vladimir Toro has got the gap, 24 seconds from Junior Silva. Now, we're at the 26.7k marker. Toro climbing absolutely fantastic. I'm sure there's something in the Toro name that means that you climb like an absolute dream, because of course the UAE Emirates team with Toro, a very good climber, has to be one for the future. Toro, no, they haven't taken a win here, Vladimir Toro, on the Sunday race. Took 2 second places, 4 further top 5 places as well, but never making top spots. So whilst he took 4th place in last week's qualifier, and regularly taking away sort of top 4s, top 5s. A 2nd place on the Jebel Hafit, his best result on the Sunday Race Club so far. And that certainly in terms of recent history, that was at the end of July in the finals on the Jebel Hafit. Today, we're on the Paso Alto, and Toro up in front by 26 seconds. Dangerous rider to let go. Need to answer him, and they need to answer him fast, because if they let him go over the top first into FRB, he maintains that onto the final climb. Yes, it's 13k long, but it's a great climb to get into a climbing rhythm and really tap out a smooth rhythm. 3 very different styles on your screens. You've got Nick Handley there, crouched low over the bike, very traditional road position almost there, tapping away a very good cadence. You've got Cridland on the top, alternating between being in the saddle and out of the saddle. And you've got Junior Silva, who is out of the saddle pretty much the entire time. The Brazilian rider very much stamping on those pedals. He's currently in 2nd position, trying to get that power down, trying to get clear of the group behind. He can see Toro. It's down to 17 seconds now. The gap between, but they do need to keep on pulling. And Steele, Jose, Cridland, Scretti, Montoya need to be going here with Silva, because they need to get that gap back down again. They can't let Toro go too far. Toro will desperately want to hold that time gap as they go across onto the FRB, the flat rolling bumpy section between the top of the Medellin climb and the start of the Bogota climb. Critical moments here. Silva starting to go clear to try and join Toro at the lead of Category 6 on the left of your screen as Toro approaches the checkpoint. Meanwhile, Category 5, it is Ponzi who's got the gap. He's currently got 11 seconds to the chasing group behind it. It's a big chasing group of Roy, Holm, Cirillo, Svart, all in that mix. Melostic's in there, so's Holm. The big chasing bunch is still behind him. It's 11 seconds to a solo leader in Ponzi in Category 5, right-hand side of your screen. Toro in and through underneath the checkpoint, getting maximum points on the climb, and the polka dot skin suit as our leader of the climbs competition. Followed by Silva, the 2nd rider over the top of the climb. That is the Medellin climb. the first of our checkpoints that are at the top of the climb segment. So Toro from Silver taking 5 and 4 points respectively. Then Cridland, Vaz and Handley 3, 2 and 1 points as well. Then comes the big chasing group behind. And in fact, we've now had 14 riders go over the top of the climb. So that big chasing group trying to chase down our 2 escapees. 14 riders total, 12 riders in the chasing group, 2 riders clear at the front, Silver and Toro, who are not yet together as I speak, as they go over the top. Now, category 5, they're on the way up. They have an escapee up the front as well, and they can see them. They can see our lone rider. They've got to try and get this gap back down again before they get to the top. They want to use that power of the bunch of the group to pull back the escapee. Gacek, Home, Mountier, Kendall, Hagland, Loxley, Lenador in this mix here. Left-hand side of your screen, you can see we've got Spark, we've got Kendall, and we've got Hagland. Again, 3 different continents. Republic of South Africa rider Eben Schwartz on your screens at the bottom. Luke Kendall, dead centre for Australia. Then Swedish rider Nicholas Hagland on the top of the rider screens. The avatars working as hard as the riders here on this climb as the pace starts to pick up. Ponzi in the lead still. They're chasing hard. Home working hard here. Loxley's going. Luke Kendall is right in this mix. He's not giving away ground. Neither is Nicholas Hagland. Hagland wants to be in this. So does Swart. They all know that as it goes over the top, the speed will pick up even more. They want the points in that mountains competition because we've still got the Bogota climb to come. That 13.5k climb. That is a part 2. Cirillo going after Ponzi. Ponzi's up in front. Cirillo surely can't catch him back in the time that is left available to him. That's not going to happen. Hagland's on the charge behind at the front of the bunch, but it's going to be Ponzi who goes over the top first. Diego Ponzi is going to get that skin suit. He goes ahead of Cirillo. Cirillo scores 4 points behind. It's 3 and 2 up for grabs. Whoa, did Hagland get that from Roy? Did Roy get that from Hagland? We wait for the update on our screens. It was Roy from Hagland. So 5 points to Diego Ponzi in 1 at the top of the climb. Clinton Cirillo in 2 with 4 points. Justin Roy in 3rd with 3 points. Nicholas Hagland taking 4th, gaining 2 points. And Matt Smithson from Australia taking away 5th place and 1 point. Snaffling that from Rod Loxley's countryman as they went over the top. Loxley riding for the Level Raiders. In fact, it was a bit of a train of Australian riders. It was Smithson, then Loxley, Kendall and Milostic as they came in through, all riding either for different teams or as individuals. So more national adhesion than there was team adhesion in that chase behind as everybody scrambled for the wheels over the top in Category 5. So on your screens, Category 4 on their way up this climb on that same section, these sweeping bends. However, they're not together either because Ungara has gone on the attack. So Neil Ungara at the moment is the rider who's gone clear. Category 4 rider Ungara, a finisher of the 2025 My Whoosh Championships. Did a great job in Category 4. Highest position in that was actually on the last stage, and that was on the Coffee Trail here in Colombia. It was a flat stage to finish, though. We just went around the Coffee Trail for 3 or if not 4 loops in the race, the last stage of the day. It was a long stage, but fast and flat. He got 11th place there. But at the moment, Neil Ungara on the climb. He had a good finals back in June and took a 9th place. Then got top 10, Neil Ungara, in what was his 2nd My Whoosh Sunday race. Still consistently been in Category 4 all the way through. Recently raced the My Whoosh Public Qualifier number 4. That was on the Wednesday on the way through, doing a great job in the week of being inside the top 20 and scoring points on his way through. So a good result from him. But at the moment, one man who's no stranger to climbing, Jussi Palaka, definitely a strong rider when it goes uphill. Palaka taking away the win in the My Whoosh Championships for 2025 in category 4. He took away that top spot. 20 Sunday race clubs, 3 second places and a third place. I'm sure he'd dearly love to take the win today. He's a rider who we know climbs well. He took the win on the climb of Mount Fuji in Japan on that Noboru stage 5 of the Maiwush Championship. A clear indication that he can climb. He took a third on the stage in Zurich in Switzerland. That was again another of our big climbing days, so could be one to watch, but I suspect being careful to not put in too much too soon, as Ungara has gone early, been chased here by Restrepo. So this is 4 points in the KOM competition. It's going to be Ungara who pulls on the polka dot skin suit first of those points. Only 2 checkpoints today in that climbs competition, and prizes, of course, for each of the segments and for the KOM. In category 4, each segment worth $30. The overall, if you are the KOM or the sprint winner, another $55 on top. So that'll get you a little bit of bling for the bike, maybe some new handlebar tape, a couple of bead-ons, a nice carbon fiber bottle cage, you never know, for the bike, for the Smart Turbo. If Smart Bike, if you're on one of those when you're racing. And don't forget, of course, all of the prize money, the rules set, and the guidelines all on mywoosh.com. Go to events. And if you want the full guidelines and the rule set, it's worth, first of all, checking out the main Sunday Race Club page. That main Sunday Race Club page is available a little bit further down the page from each of our qualifiers, where you join each of the races or the finals, where you join the men's or the women's race specifically for that week. So just scroll a little bit further down the page and you'll find the Sunday Race Club main page with all the rules, guide sets, all links to all the key things, what you need to do for verification, the minimum equipment specification, because of course this is subject to strict verification across all of our riders, because Maiwush investing in cycling esports and in the riders, creating a sustainable environment by making sure not only are we racing each and every week on the Sunday Race Club, we don't get cancelled for birthdays, for Christmas, for snow, for rain, for hail. No matter what happens, power cuts, we keep on rolling on the Sunday Race Club. Nothing so far, touch wood, is going to stop the race rolling. However, it also means that we're invested in terms of money and prizes to make it sustainable and incentivize riders to put their best race legs on each and every Sunday and race, whether it's qualifiers or whether it's in those finals. The same is true, of course, of the Maiwush Championship, the unique 7-stage, 8-day stage race. Not even that actually stopped the Sunday race. We were racing on the Sunday on the rest day for the championships. Then, of course, Maiwush, the partner for the UCI for 2024, 2025, and 2026 on the Maiwush platform, the World Championships, as well as the semi-finals, the qualifying races, the public qualifiers, all on Maiwush. Now, as we proceed up this climb, top of the climb coming in at 27.4k, the riders knowing that they're getting that little bit closer. Camille Davis, Nicole Kansara, and Nobody just with a little bit of a gap up the road here. Howeiler working hard to close the gap down, but they have got to get this gap back, because this is dangerous letting riders go at this stage. They'll be mopping up points. Whether they can go for the win, I suspect the gap not going to be big enough. Squilari in this main group, so is Howeiler, so is Kalmans, in all 3 of these riders in this big chase group at the moment. And I think all 3 of these riders have their eyes on that big prize for the end of the stage. Take away the win in category 3 on the stage today, $780 up for grabs. In fact, running all the way down to 10th, you're in triple figures if you're in the top 8. $120 for 8th place. So $50 for 10th. You all want to be in those top 10. Everybody in that group will want to be there. At the moment, though, Camille Davies is going to be the rider who takes away maximum points and takes away the segment ahead of Niall Batty. Batty is going to take 2nd place in the climbs competition so far, with Davies with the polka dot skin suit. Batty in 2nd place at the moment. So just looking across at Danes, the rider in that polka dot skin suit coming into this right-hand turn. Continuing to push on here at 5 watts per kilo, looking to drive that momentum on into this slight descent here, and then take a little bit of a pause. You can just see the Watts still pushing on. He's going to use this great way to gain momentum, go over the top and continue to kick. If you've got the strength and the energy to do so, really, really is key. So the breakaway in Category 2 on our screens at the moment when we were last with them. This was 7 riders. They had shed at least one of the riders out of the back of the group, with Van Urk losing contact as it came through the sprint. They're on the climb. They are on their way up towards that 27.4k, but they are at about midway up the climb at the moment. The climb is starting at 21.9 kilometers, 27.4 the checkpoint, a little bit more of a rise until you go over the top over the bridge and into the Medellin city itself. A huge group here as they coming up here, as they went through that San Gil sprint in Category 2. Our leading group of riders going through there of 7 riders. Van Urk still had a gap back, and then it was Mr. X100 leading the charge in 9th position. The first big gap after that, well, that came in. It's a long way down to scroll. Incredibly, there isn't a big gap until you get right down the bottom. The first big gap comes at 59th place. Only one rider distance from the main group in Category 2. So Category 2, basically everybody chasing the leaders still, apart from one rider on the way up the slopes. Meanwhile, Category 1, Jason Osborne, along with Young Fai Wu and Michael Vink, on the move at the front of the group. No surprises there. Osborne, Wu, and Vink on the climb, looking to break clear of the main bunch. And this is going to be Groundhog Day for the riders behind, really, because this had become what was the norm on the championships and very often the norm on the Sunday Race Club at the moment, with 3 very strong climbers able to put the gap in on the climb, and then the rest of the group having to work and close the gap down. It's not going to be so much the case that it's unclosable, I think, unless they get a huge gap here on the climb. They're at 24.2 kilometers covered. To get to the top of the climb, they've got to get to 27.4k, but then we have that run across to the start of the main climb. But the main climb average gradient is only 3.6%. And it does mean that if you're on to the main climb, you've got a chance of pulling the riders back. Now, Category 1, chasing Category 2 on the road. All the riders are slowly coming back together in terms of leading the groups, with our fastest category, Category 1, the last of the riders out from the pens. At the moment, Simon Walter on the climb in the main bunch here. The main bunch has distance 1s and 2s off the back, so there are a number of riders distance, more than we've seen in Category 2 previously to this. So as they came into the climb, that was a huge group chasing. It has basically now diminished somewhat, because the climb just separated another 3 or 4 riders. So in total, maybe 5 riders gone off the back of the main group, chasing our leaders. Leaders still up the road. So here on the My Sunday Race Club, we're in with Mark Santo. Santo in the main group, the leaders 12 seconds up the road. It's not that long ago they had a bigger gap, but the climbing prowess of the chasers are very much to the fore. I think Mr. X100 on the move once again, looking to close the gap down at the front of the main group. Santo having to respond to the pressure that's being put on. Looks like Gray's moving up, so is SS as well. They're going to be making the way up. Nobody will want that gap to go right the way out. They don't dare let it go too long. Meanwhile, front of the lead group, Mitchell Machado is doing what he did on the My Championships, and we've seen him do on the Sunday Race Club, opening up a gap on the lead leading the group. He's broken clear the 26.2 kilometre marker. He has got 1.2k to go to the summit. Machado now breaking clear, using these slopes to open a gap. So we now do not have a leading group. We have a solo leading rider, 7 seconds clear of a chasing group of 6. One rider then separated from the group of 6 with a massive bunch behind, but you can see the bunch is on its way. Machado was aware of that. He knew the gap had gone down to about 16, 17 seconds, and you can see now this big bunch being led by SS on the climb. Peter Milostic also on the charge here. So is Alan Young, Downs, Koisonen, Jasinski, and Miller in here. Halen is in this as well. They know that they want to get the gap down. They won't want to let them go over the top, and then they'll want to press reset going into the next climb. The leaders have got that gap, and at the moment Machado with the gap out the front, he'll be hoping that when they catch back the main group, they don't realise one rider has gone at the top. I think they needed more riders in between, though, more category 4 and 5 riders to confuse the fact. I think the main group will be aware that there is still Machado off the front of the group here, as the leaders, the long-time leaders, except one, are going to be caught back here by the main bunch. They're going to come together. You can see the junctions about to be made here, and riders like Todd Allen Young now know that they've pulled back basically all but one of the riders in front, and that now is going to leave it wider open on the front of this race. That one rider up at the front, well, that is currently Michel Machado, the Portuguese rider, on the attack at the front of this race, riding for the Cycling District 2 squad. So Cycling District 2 rider on the way up. Just keeping a check on him in Category 2. Meanwhile, Category 1, we saw earlier on that Osborne, Vink and Wu were the 3 riders who had attacked. They've gone clear by a few seconds. That gap has been reinforced. Vink and Osborne both running for the Boss Moves Only squad on the front here with Wu. Wu working well with them at the moment. Wu running for the Aber Synergy squad, so he will be getting some time for the Synergy squad, but potentially at the moment they're giving ground to Boss Moves Only, because the 2 Boss Moves Only leaders on the road, Osborne and Vink, with Wu in attendance, have got 11 seconds on Jones. Ollie Jones riding for the Alpha Jaw squad, their leading rider at the moment. As we take a look up the road, the main bunch have come together. Mr. X100 has gone clear of the main bunch, chasing Mitchell Machado, and Machado has got the gap. Machado, you can see at the top of your screen here, now onto main screen, coming up to the polka dot archway that signifies the top of climb checkpoint. It's the top of the climb, it's a checkpoint, it's where the clock stops. It's where we get to see who is going to go through. Machado goes through 43 minutes of racing, 45 seconds complete as they went underneath the line behind. It's going to be Mr. X100, followed by Bert Kane, Ivan Nuki, and Olivier Simmons, I think, as they hit the line there. Machado, Mr. X100, Peter Milostic, Cooper and Downs. Then Darcy going in through, just letting it do its updating on the way through, though, because I think that's going to change. It has. So here we go. Update from the timing screens. Michel Machado going through, leading through. He went through his gap on the line, 14 seconds. He takes 5 points from Mr. X100, 14 seconds down. Second place at the top of that climb, he takes 4. But Kayan right on the hills, 3 seconds back from Mr. X100. He takes 3 points in third. Ivan Nuki on the heels of Kayan taking 2 points. And then Simmons taking 1 point. He was about 0.9 of a second down on Nuki. So Machado, X100, Kayan, Nuki and Simmons, the top 5 in Category 2. The Category 2 bunch going through still. Are you ready for this? 42 riders strong in Category 2. Lots of racing to be done in Category 2. As they make their way up the climb, Mitchell Machado has got the gap here, but this is the big bunch here. They need to get themselves back together again. They need to make sure that nobody goes. They're going to hit the slopes of the Bogota climb. And that is where we're going to see it be decided, I think, today. Certainly in Category 2. although we do have lone leaders in some of our other categories. Meanwhile, the sprint is on for the polka dot archway. Vic not giving this over to Osborne too easily here. Now Vic's going to go straight over the top, surely. He just came at 7.5 watts per kilo. He's continuing at 7 or so. Osborne and Wu have been passed by Vic. Is Vic going to try and solo off as they come up onto this group? Will he let them come back together again? We'll keep an eye on that as they move onwards. Vic goes in over the top of the climb here in 40.44. So here's a time over the top, but 40.43 is Jason Osborne, who actually shown on my screen is credited with the fastest time. So you can see the Machado there in category 2, Danes in category 3, Hungary in category 4, and so on. All the results up on the MyWhoosh website, mywhoosh.com/results. And don't forget, have an explore of the webpage. Loads of ways to have a look. And there we go. Just taking another refresh. It's still showing Vic, interestingly, at the top of those climb winners. I'm going to give mine a refresh as well, because you never know. My timing screen is saying something different to the main timing screen. If we keep doing this long enough, they'll actually agree one way or another. We will see. So at the top of the climb, I made it to Osborne going in over the line. That's what I certainly saw. There will be a little bit of a check back. Well, part of the system here at MyWhoosh checks back the results. So it's not just checking the riders and verifying the riders. It's got its own double checks and triple checks inside the system to make sure that what it comes up as the result is. You can imagine how complicated it is behind the scenes, making sure all these results actually tie up with what the riders are putting in and the inputs. And there's a lot of checking and double checking and triple checking on the way through. So even if the part 1 doesn't quite get the right, part 2 and 3 will then correct it. So those checks and double checks are done. That's all part of the process that happens at the end of verification as well. So when the race is finished, it's not just that verification of the riders that's done. There's also a check of the system to make sure that all the results are computing correctly. Now, one rider who we know can climb and who we know will be in those results, Mac Lenador on the right-hand side of the 2 riders on your screen. Manuelito Lenador on the left-hand side of your screen. Both riders are on the turbo trainer at the moment, both working hard. And Mac at the moment about to regain this chase group in category 5. They have a lone escapee off the front of the group, though, and that is dangerous at this stage in the racing. 37k in, and if that rider's a good climber, and you can assume that they are, you know that that is one way that they're going to get some ground. Even Ponzi at the moment not responding straight away to the move up the road. It's a 5-second gap to the lone leader ahead of Ponzi. And at the moment, it is Jeremy Horn who has the gap. Will he be able to hold that gap to the finish? We'll have to wait and find out. Just diving back in with category 3 at the moment, in with Ivo Sure. Going to see if he is going to be in contention when we come into the finish in that leading group of category 3. Making his way up here at the moment. Looking good at the minute in that chasing group. So category 2, just taking a look at them, currently sitting at 31k. Category 1 at 30k. Category 5, much further up the road, you can see that they're at 37.5 kilometers. They're ahead of the Category 3 riders on the bottom right-hand side of your screen. Category 6 are the furthest riders up the hillside so far, but quickly being closed down by Categories 5, 4, 3, 2, and Category 1. Category 2 on the left-hand side of your screen, Category 1 on the right-hand side of your screen. You can see that the Category 1 leaders just picking up riders. Jakob Bjorklund just trying to get on board the express train at the moment. It's Yongfei Wu who's squeezing on at the front of this group. Vink is responding. Then you see the response come from Osborne. So our 3 individual leaders at the moment, they have a 17-second gap back from Vink, Wu and Osborne to Bjorklund and Co. So to Jones and Co behind in Category 1. In Category 2, Well, Mr. X100, Olivier Simmons, Mitchell Machado, along with Corrales in the main bunch of riders in Category 2. They are now at the 31.6k marker. They're onto the main climb. You can just see Category 1 leaders have hit that same climb with Osborne, Fink, and Wu hitting the slopes, and that gap at the moment 20 seconds back to Hayden Pucker, the nearest rider at this stage in Category 1, right hand side of your screen. So we're going to move up the road. In fact, we're moving as far up the road as we can, or almost, because we are in with our two leaders here. Junior Silva has got a 43-second gap back to the chasing group behind, with Montoya, Diaz, Cridland, Vaz, and Co. all working hard to try and close this down. Gosler's in there as well. They're all looking to pull it back. Rademacher in the chase, but that 47-second gap should be sufficient if Silva and Toro can continue to climb as they are. At the moment, we're in with Junior Silva. So in person, left-hand side of your screen, and then the avatar on the right-hand side there. So Junior Silva doing what he did in the Moirus Championships, absolutely nailing it on the climb, out of the saddle, getting the power down. Once again, he's chasing after Toro. Toro is ahead in the polka dot skin, so you can just about make out a tiny flitting figure between the shadows in white up the road around the left-hand turn. At the moment, that is Toro. It's 15 seconds the difference between Silva and Toro. That is in Category 6 on the right-hand side of the screen. Category 5, Jeremy Horn, a rider who's got very few Sunday race clubs. I think this is his second Sunday race club. His first one was last week in qualifier race at number 4. So Horn at the moment leading Category 5 from Loxley and Co, who are chasing hard behind. Category 2, well, at the moment, Mr. X100, along with Jan Kaplinski, battling it out on the slopes of the Paso Alto on the Bogota climb. And in Category 1, it is the leaders at the moment, your three, including the world champion Jason Osborne, who have the gap. So here we go, Category 2. Front of the race, Mr. X100 showed that he got his pacing, his timing right on the Moirus Championships, just ahead of Olivier Simmons. Mr. X100 loves a long climb. He loves it when it's consistently tough all the way up. It's not too steep, though, and he's showing that here today. He can sit at just the right power. He's just seen Olivier Simmons come up on his heels here. Now Simmons takes the race lead out of the saddle on the left-hand side there of your screen. You can see Simmons kicking down hard there. He's got Mr. X100 on his heels, but Mitchell Machado is not going to let this move go. Machado at nearly 6 watts per kilo. He comes alongside Alex Arsenio, the Category 5 rider. Sid Mitchell Machado on his way up here. Machado climbed clear on the climb of the medaling climb. He accelerated. He took away the points on that climb. He'll be looking to take away the points at the top of this climb, but also to reinforce and use that as a real foundation for what potentially could be a race win. So out of the saddle, Machado on the left-hand side of your screen continues to kick on down here, really working hard. He can see that the two in front have got that gap. Mr. X100, Olivier Simmons, critical moment now. He can just see Miller and Al Raiki also moving up here. They don't want to let this go. Cooper Bennett also in attendance. Nobody wants to let this move go. I think it's going to be a really critical moment here in Category 2, because at the moment, Mr. X100 and Olivier Simmons are just starting to break through. They're both incredibly dangerous riders. You can't afford to let them go, because they will time trial the way up to the top, where it will then come down to a sprint. Stuart Miller is responding here, again leading the charge here. The Irishman ahead of Brandon Downs from the Republic of South Africa. Then it's going to be Maciej Mendakowicz, who takes up the charge behind. Again, another strong and regular winner on the Moirus Sunday Race Club, wanting to bring this group up, but this is not separating out. We could almost see a bunch sprint from Category 2 at the top of this climb, unless somebody can make this stick If they can, will it be Mr. X100 and Olivier Simmons that are on the front at the moment? I certainly wouldn't want to gamble on a bunch sprint at the top of this climb, but that is what everybody is doing at the moment because they've not pulled down to close the gap. They've not pulled the gap down. They've not pulled the group down. It's not coming back at the moment. If anything, it's opening back up again. 3.5% gradient, 3.4, 3.6. This is continuing to be tough stuff here today. So, I mean, Dakowitz trying to just stay in contention in that group. It is shedding riders. Don't be fooled by the fact that it's still a big group, that it's not going quick. It is. Behind riders are coming out the back of that group by one after the other, after the other. And when they're distanced, they are gone. Game over, get out the back. You're not going to be right at the front, but they've got to keep riding because, of course, that team competition is in play because it is our monthly final. And the top three riders need to get over the line as fast as they can in category 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and in category 1. And in category 1, we are starting to see a push from Fink on the front in category 1 again. I think he's looking to shed Wu at the moment. Wu having to work hard. Fink, look at this. Fink out of the saddle here. 600 watts on the left-hand side of your screen from Fink as he pushes down here. Osborne is holding the wheel. Can Wu hold the wheel? Wu's at 9 watts per kilo here. Here he comes. The rider with the yellow jersey with the dark hair there comes alongside the polka dot skin suit of Jason Osborne. And then the yellow jersey and yellow cap of Michael Fink on the front of this group. These three riders still haven't broken apart. Vink wound that up, and there's another opportunity to really push on because they're coming up on to this big group. They're going to come a rocketing past Salminen of category 6. They can see in front that big group of category 5, and I think that's the main category, category 2, the main category 2 chasers. So category 1, yellow jerseys, left-hand side, coming up on the green jerseys of category 2. The main group of chasers are going to see the leaders in category 1 come sweeping past, I think, here. Meanwhile, at the very front of category 2, Mr. X100 and Olivier Simmons have got a gap. It's not going to be enough, I think, to stay clear, or is it? As we see Daniel Hoyos at the moment in our screens. Just holding the wheel here of Phil Graves. They're all holding the back of the group. But look at this. Here we go. Vink is on his way. The Vinkinator with Osborne and Wu. Top three riders in the men's race overall in terms of speed and performance over the last month. And further on the climb, making the way through. The express train rips its way through that group. At the moment, I think Vink is going to come out with a slight gap over Osborne and Wu. Wu is going to have to push on to pull that gap back down again. Osborne won't want to let it go. Colin Cahan getting a grandstand shot of the race as they go past. Everybody scrambling for wheels. And in that pass, Mr. X100 has been pulled back into the fold. So has Olivier Simmons. And it looks to me like that has all come back together again in category 2. Everybody watching the leaders in category 1 come in through. And again, another gap opening. Michael Vick on the front of category 1 has opened about a 3-second gap on the chasers behind him. Category 2 are being invigorated by that because Vink has gone clear. That's now at 4 seconds between Vink and Osborne. And then Wu holding the wheel of Osborne. But Osborne won't necessarily chase hard enough to pull Vink back. Is his teammate. They both ride for the Boss Moose only squad. Osborne v Vink. It's a regular battle. Osborne, we know, great on the climbs. Vink has got the speed, the leg power, and he showed in the championships that when it comes to an overall race, he has it absolutely dialed. He knows what his goals are. We saw that in the MyWish Championship. He went out early to go take the sprint points early on. It meant that he had enough in the bank for later during that stage race. He then took the overall win. Meanwhile, Jason Osborne picked up the climb competition on the way through, but couldn't match Vink overall. Further up the road, categories 5 and category 6 are still separated on the road. Category 6 leader Vladimir Toro on the right-hand side of your screen at the 42.5 kilometre marker. Junior Silver currently in second place at 16 seconds. Then it's a minute back to Jeremy Horn, who's on the left-hand side of your screen. He's the leader of category 5. He's also got for company the chasers in category 6, including Jonathan Cridland. Cridland getting down and fuck you with it. He's got the cap on backwards. He's got going for the proper retro look there. I'll tell you something, there's nothing retro about his speed. He's absolutely flying up here. Jonathan Cridland, a rider to watch at the top of this climb, and that's for sure, because he's got a good kick on him as well. These riders at the moment are working well, and they are taking, I think, some inspiration from Jeremy Horn. Horn, the category 5 rider, may well be helping them inadvertently come up on to Silver and Toro. Silver on the right-hand side of your screen, 16 seconds back on Toro, 47 seconds ahead of Cridland, along with Montoya, Gosler, Jose, the chasing group. It's on the left-hand side of your screen. Silver needs to make this all the way to the top. He's in second position at the moment. The gap is coming down second by second, but so is the distance to the race finish. Junior Silver, I tell you, this man, absolutely, if there was a combativity prize, if there was a prize for putting your absolute all in week after week, climb after climb, Junior Silver would be one of our front runners for it, because without fail, each and every time we see him giving it absolutely everything he's got on the way into the finish. Sometimes it works out and he gets that just reward. Sometimes it doesn't and he's closed down and passed. Never an easy thing to do. Break clear. Never an easy thing to do to stay in with our leading leaders, particularly when they can really climb like Toro can. Silver's doing a great job, though. In the second place in category 6 on the right-hand side of your screen. Left-hand side of your screen, we're in with Ivan Nuki. Nuki has got Cooper and Mr. X100 up in front. Then you can see it's Halen and Co. And this is the terrain that should suit Ivan Nuki. When it goes uphill, this man gets into gear. He's got that fantastic build that allows him a really great climber. He's got the determination to do this. His coach is a coach. He knows exactly the theory. He knows what he needs to do. He's just got to execute it now. He's got to do his legs, his body, what his mind and his mouth has been telling the kids to do and inspiring other people to do. He's going to get onto the wheel here. Mr. X100, he's done that. He's got Cooper. So this is your leading 3 on the road. They've got a gap back, and it's Arvin Goddardzi. Oh, my goodness. Now, that's a man who can climb behind. The Canadian rider is chasing, and Goddardzi is a phenomenal climber in his own right. That is a dangerous man to let get back to this group. The 3 leaders need to work together for a while here, I think, to extend the gap that they've got, because Goddardzi is on his way. He's a rider who we know climbs well. He climbed to victory, Goddardzi, in the category 2 on the top of Mount Fuji. He took the win there, and that is very, very telling in the category 2 race on the MyWoos Championship. So Goddardzi, a rider who's got some great climbing ability, trying to close down the leaders in category 2. Meanwhile, our last leaders to leave the Penwood category 1. Michael Vink has got the gap to Osborne and to Wu, left-hand side of your screen. Toro has the gap back to Junior Silver on the right-hand side of your screen. It's currently 13 seconds to Silver, and it's 50 seconds to Horn, Amaya and Rademacher, etc. But the category 6 riders are chasing and holding the wheel of Horn in pursuit of the leaders. This finish is very, very brutal indeed. You come round this right-hand turn and you go up on to the climb in through the city, and it doesn't level out for a long time. You can see the buildings and you start to feel you're getting into town, but you've got to pull all the way through town. It's less than a kilometre to go for Junior Silver. The gap behind him, it's still holding at 43 seconds to his nearest chaser behind. Toro has gone clear on the front. He's not going to pull Toro back for the win. He's going to take a second place surely here today. He can't afford for those legs to go pop, no matter how much cramp, how much agony, how much they're burning, how much his lungs feel like they're on fire. You've got to keep pulling. You've got to keep on going because you've got to stay clear of the chase group behind. Toro, well, he's going to take maximum points on climb 1 and maximum points on climb 2. He'll take away both segment prizes in category 6. He's going to take away the climber's jersey. He's on the right hand side of your screen. It looks like he's on for the stage win. Behind us, Silver is coming, but he's not coming quick enough. He'll take second on the climb here as Junior Silver goes underneath the climb. Toro leading this out towards the line. 500 meters from the climb arch all the way to the finish of our finals here on the MyWoo Sunday Race Club Category 6. Absolutely nailing this climb today. They stay clear of Category 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. They've been passed by nobody on the way up the climb. And at the moment, Toro and Silver with the gap back to the rest of the race field. You can see that it's over a minute. This is a phenomenal ride by Vladimir Toro. It's going to be a great ride by Silver behind him, but Vladimir Toro, he's got the time to appreciate the run to the line. Vladimir Toro, a rider who's ridden, this is his 20th Sunday Race Club. So far, he's had 2 second places. Today is the day he makes it a win on the MyWoo Sunday Race Club. What a day to do it on the climb of the Paso Alto in August on our monthly finals at the MyWoo Sunday Race Club. Vladimir Toro takes the win in Category 6 and claims the climb's jersey on the way through. And immediately behind him, here comes Junior Silver. He holds on for second place in Category 6. A great ride by him to come through. He's going to take away second place here today. You can see he's given absolutely everything on his run in to that line. Toro coming through for the BMC 6s, leading that team home. Silver making his way in second place. He goes over the line for the ZTBR Caracas squad. They are your first 2 riders in over our finish line here today in Colombia. A phenomenal ride as they came in over the top of the finish in the Category 6 race. A fantastic result, I have to say, on that run for the line. Our Category 5 leaders come in with the win going to Luke Kendall from Clinton Cirillo. This is the run in Category 4, and the Category 4 riders charging into the line as they come in through. Let's round up those places for you in Categories 5, 6, and in fact Category 4. So Category 6, the first riders on the line: Toro from Silver, from Steel, Cridland. Then they were the top 4 riders. So in Category 5, that was a win for Luke Kendall, second place for Clinton Cirillo, a third place for Riley Milostic. The top 3 in Category 4. Juan Restrepo coming ahead of Perdencini, and then Gomez coming through for third place. In terms of teams, Cycling District 4 in Category 4 take the win. In Category 5, it's the Level Up team. And in Category 6, it's the ZTBR Caracas squad led by Silver, who we had on our screens. Okay, let's drop across from there into Camille Davies at the moment, because Davies now sprinting up this climb here in the Category 3 race. He's going to lead the Category 3 riders into the line. He's ahead of the youngster Badil, who's got attention around him. He's got riders fighting for position, but Camille Davies from France is going to be the next of our riders in and over the line in Category 3. He hits the line here today. He's your winner in that Category 3 competition, in the climb competition. Can he make it a win overall? That is the question. He's got the gap surely to do that. Will it be enough today? He goes on to this right-hand turn. Will he be able to stay clear of the rest of the group? They are chasing hard behind him. Will they have enough in the tank? He's got company as a Category 5 rider just in front, sprinting for their race finish. All of these categories coming towards the line at once. Davies has got something extra in the tank here. Look at this, 6 watts per kilo. He's coming. Nick Scolari behind us got the gap down to 20 seconds. It's not going to be enough. Camille Davies is going to take the win overall, as well as taking that win we've just seen in the climb competition. A great day at the office for Danes from France. Camille Davies comes underneath the UCI banner here on the MyWoo Sunday Race Club, and the monthly final, he's going to take away the win for the What's Up squad. Behind him, Nick Squillari chasing all the way to the line. He's opened up a gap on the youngster David Badil. It's going to be Squillari who comes through in second place in category 3. He's going to lead home the Take All squad. Can he stay clear of the rest? David Badil riding as an individual today, taking third place in category 3. Carol Sladek of the Gold Grabbers taking fourth place, and Nicole Kansara of the Take That squad coming through for fifth. And in category 3, the What's Up team of Camille Davies come through that win, being taken by the team of Davies, Cond and Guarin, with Stuart backing them up as well, already in and over the line. So they take away the team win in category 3. Fast and frantic in the run to the line in category 6, 5, 4, and 3. In terms of our leaders, if you're out there racing for your team, make sure you keep on running all the way to that line. You never know what's happening up in front on the road. In your team, you need to make sure you push all the way to that line. It's all great training. It's all going to make you faster and stronger in the long run. Make sure that you do the most you can for that team and get that improvement in. I'm going to take a little bit of a quick check here, because Mr. X100, right hand side of your screen, leading the category 2 race, has got company of Cooper at the moment here. They're on your big screen. Cooper holding the wheel of Michael Knudsen. Knudsen with Mr. X100 on this climb. Ivan Nuki is also in attendance here in category 2. So Cooper and Cooper and 100 and Nuki in here from category 2. They've got the gap here, I think, to the nearest riders. They have it's about 20 seconds or so. So Begston and Milostic, the nearest riders, they've got a gap. They've got to make this stick. There is some great company here. Saeed Safrazadi in the mix here, along with Michael Knudsen on the chase with Ollie Jones. They're all chasing the 3 leaders in category 1. Michael Vink leading Jason Osborne in the battle with Woo. Last time we saw Michael Vink on the left-hand side of your screen at 43.7 kilometers covered. He's currently not that far from the top of the climb. In terms of the segment, the climb itself actually finishes even beyond the finish line of today's race. It's a great route to ride. Even if you're not out to go train or put in, grab yourself a new FTP, because it's a great climb to do that on as well. And a new FTP, it's a great climb to actually go ride up, even if it does go on for quite a long time. It's always interesting, lots of scenery, great scenery at the side. Now, category 3 rider is Walter Clays, who's chasing Henry East himself. He sees Michael Vink come alongside him. Vink comes chasing past Walter Clays. Clays in the Belgium national jersey. His countryman, Mr. Cullen, taking double gold medals at the Paralympic World Championships not all that long ago. Just some great elation from him yesterday. It was great to see him take that. Some real fans down at the side of the road in Rons. Meanwhile, Henry East on the climb also sees Michael Vink chasing into town. Vink now at the top of town. He's ahead of the category 2 leaders at the moment. Category 2 leaders on the right-hand side of your screen, just briefly there, as we see Michael Vink coming into town. Vink leading in number 1 spot. He's got the polka dot skin suit potentially heading his way. He comes up. He's going to go underneath the banner here. He's going to take what is 5 points. For the score underneath. He goes underneath the banner. Will he hold it? It's all going to depend on where Osborne finishes. He's next sent up here. He should be the next rider that comes into sight. We're going to have to see if he's held off Woo. Vink now aiming for the finale, aiming for that finishing line, taking away the win today is his target, taking away the $2,170 for the win. He'll be looking for the Boss Moves Only squad to claim that $9,520 team prize as well. And at the moment, the Boss Moves Only squad rider Vink, backed up by Osborne. They are the 2 leading riders from that team, and they have with them not all that far behind. Michael Nussen and Said Safrazadi in the chase group. So it's looking like it could be a good day for the team of the Boss Moves Only squad. They take victory individually with Michael Vink taking away the win here today. Vink has another win to his palmares. Jason Osborne takes away second. The run for the line behind, I think, is going to go to Wu just ahead of Knudsen. The Knudsen on his way up here in fourth place. Wu is just ahead of him. So behind Knudsen, Jones and Safrazadi are not that far behind. Let's see who is going to make it, who can get themselves into position, who's going to hold on as they come on to the finish here. Fink goes through in one. It was Osborne in two, Wu in three. Who's going to take fourth and fifth places here today? Knudsen is versus Jones at the moment. And Jones is behind. Jones out of the saddle. He's got a phenomenal sprint on him. He's now starting to wind him up. He comes on the right-hand side of Knudsen. Knudsen knows that he's being passed here by Jones. Jones with that big sprint that we saw him unleash in the MyWoos Championship, taking away the first stage and holding that yellow jersey. He comes through to take away fourth place. It's going to be a fifth place for Michael Knudsen. Meanwhile, Category 2, it's going to be a win for William Cooper here today. Cooper takes away top spot in Category 2. It's going to be the climbers jersey for Cooper as well, I think. Or is it? No, Cooper's going to take away the yellow. It's going to be a polka dot skin suit, I think, for Mr. X100 as he comes in across the line. The points being calculated as we speak. 1 today on the stage is Cooper. 2 is Mr. X100. It's going to be Ivan and Yuki in 3 in that Category 2 race as this race unfolds behind. It's Cooper in 1, Mr. X100 in 2, Ivan Yuki in 3, Peter Milostic in 4, Angus Benson in 5, Bert Kane in 6, then Morel in 7, Alan Young in 8, Khan Kane in 9, and Ross Fawcett in 10 in Category 2. The Category 2 team will go to the Hitmen from the Goats and Gloria Victis. Category 1 on your screen at the moment, the riders who are in and over the line, you can see that we have got Michael Vink leading out the table there with a win in 1 hour, 9 minutes and 51 seconds of riding. The close down in the later stages saw Osborne get that gap down to 7 seconds, taking second place, and 17 seconds down on the race leader, 10 seconds behind Jason Osborne, Yonfei Wu of the Abus Synergy squad. Ollie Jones came through for fourth place with Michael Knudsen coming through for a fifth place here today. His teammate Say Safrazadi came through in sixth, and in fact the Boss Moves Only squad taking away the team win. Their team time 3 hours 30 minutes and 50.925 seconds. You can see behind Say Safrazadi, Hayden Pucker coming through to take away seventh place individually. They're the 7 riders in and over the line at the moment in Category 1, and you can see confirmed that William Cooper taking the win individually, Mr. X100 taking away the climbs competition, and then Ivan Yuki taking away third place in that Category 2 race. All the results at the moment provisional, but they are up on mywoosh.com/results. Make sure you get yourself on to the page, dive on board, make sure you go in. Easiest way, go to mywoosh.com. Make sure you download the app on iOS, on Android, or on PC, on Windows. So make sure you jump on board. Joe gets onto the main menu to get results, to get to events. Jump on board the Sunday Race Club. We are going to be back next week. It will be qualifying number 1 in September. Can't quite believe that we're heading into September already. September sees us with the announcement of who will be riding in the semi-finals of the UCI World Championship in cycling esports, and then after that we'll be heading in to October and those semi-finals which comes up afterwards. We have our Sunday race clubs each and every Sunday. We'd love for you to join us, whether that is watching. If in doubt, subscribe to the MyWish YouTube channel, or of course jumping on board and getting onto that start line. We'd love to be putting words to the action. Today it's me, Matt Payne. You can follow me at Matt Fixer Payne on Instagram, at my co-host Emma Martin on international duty at the moment in Reims for the UCI. You can follow Emma at biking_Emma. Don't forget, of course, whilst you're on Instagram, make sure you follow My Whoosh on Instagram. You can do the same on Facebook as well. And it's my_whoosh on the platform known as X. Don't forget, of course, we're back next week with more racing. Qualifier race number 1 brought to you by the amazing team behind the scenes at My Whoosh, both in terms of putting together the racing and all of the platform, as well as the broadcast team who bring you the pictures. A big thank you to everyone who has watched, to everybody behind the scenes, and to all of our riders competing. It's time for me to grab ice cream and coffee, not necessarily in that order. Thank you very much for joining me for our monthly finals. Join me again next week for qualifier number 1. Until then, goodbye.